Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashranvan Utibhisi Dasadanam Shri Mahaganadipataye Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Dear friends, we have just completed this Shloka 21. Veda Vinashinam Nityam Yenam Ajamabhyayam Katham Sa Purushah Partha Kam Ghatayati Hantikam. There was a fairly long commentary on this. We just read the last line of the commentary, Shankaracharya's commentary in the last class. In the last class, one important discussion was on the shloka which comes in the 5th chapter, that is Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasyaste Sukham Vashi. On that shloka, about the question was about renunciation. Where exactly is he renouncing the karmas? Is he renouncing the karmas, or he renouncing the karmas in the body, in the sense that he is depositing the karmas in the body? So for sannyasa, two types of meanings were given. That is, nyasa means to deposit, that is one meaning. Nyasa, to leave, abandon, renounce, so that is another meaning. So the meaning which Advaitins take is that Sampurvaka Nyasa Shabdasya Tyagartha. That is, when this some upasarga is there before this nyasa, before this dhatu nyasa, the meaning is tyaga. That is to renounce, not to deposit. It is not as though he is depositing the karmas in the body and then departing. And then we also saw certain small things like what is the Vidvat Sannyasa, Vividisha Sannyasa, and then the Mimamsaka's point of view that Sannyasa is only for a lame, dumb, deaf type of person, and also for somebody who is about to die, Marishyataha na Jivataha. So all that we saw. And then that has been rejected by the Vedantins on the ground that if Parivrajya is prescribed for a sannyasi who is a physically lame, dumb person, then are you going to climb rocks and hills and whatnot? So that is what Shankaracharya asks. So like that, sannyasa is something which is a process of renunciation of all karmas. So that is what we saw. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasya. That means by proper understanding of the self, nature of self. So the next shloka, let us read. Before that, there is a small line. Tatra atmanaha avinashitvam pratignatam tat kimiva ityuchyate. Okay, so far, tatra atmanaha avinashitvam pratignatam. That is, the avinashitvam, that is, the imperishable nature of Atman has been properly established or properly propounded, properly pratignya. Pratignya actually means to make a statement, pratignatam. That is, it has been postulated. Let us say that is a proper word. The Atma, the imperishable nature of Atma has been postulated so far, and now he is going to illustrate kimiva, in what manner. In what manner is it imperishable? Suppose I say something is imperishable, so then I have to drop it, I have to put it in fire, I have to throw it in water, I have to see whether it is a waterproof, fireproof watch or something like that. So like that, whether it is waterproof or fireproof or airproof, whatever it is. So we have to very clearly or specifically say in what manner it is so imperishable, indestructible, unbreakable, whatever it is. So this shloka, let us read. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya Navani grunhati naroparani Tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani Anyani sanyati navani dehi. So the meaning is like this. This is a very well-known shloka. You just go outside, go anywhere, and then this Ghantasala shlokam will be heard everywhere. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grunhati naraha aparani. That is, just as a man discards the old clothes and then wears new clothes, likewise the Dehi, that is Atma, gives up all the old decrepit bodies, the decrepit old bodies, and then takes up new bodies. So that is the meaning of this shloka. Vasam, if you see the word breakup, Vasamsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya Navani Grunhati Naraha Aparani. Naraha Aparani becomes Naroparani. Tatha Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani plus Anyani. Jirnanyanyani. We broke it there. Jirnani Anyani Samyati Navani Dehi. So that is the breakup of words. So the arrangement of words is somewhat like this. Yatha no, I am just telling. Yatha Naraha Jirnani Vasamsi Vihaya. That is Yatha, just as Naraha, a person, Jirnani Vasamsi Vihaya, having discarded. Vihaya means having discarded. Vihaya means having discarded. It is called a lep pratyaya. Then Jirnani Vasamsi. What is he discarding? Jirnani Vasamsi means old, worn out clothes. Jirna. Jirna means food is digested. Here Jirna, Annam Jirnam means food is digested. Jirnam Vastram means what is worn out. Vasamsi. Vasamsi is the plural for Vasaha. Vasaha, Vasasi, Vasamsi. Vasamsi means clothes. It is a plural. Vasaha, Vasasi, Vasamsi. Jirnani Vasamsi Yatha Vihaya. Just as a man, a person discards the old clothes. Navani Grunhati. Navani Vasamsi Grunhati. Navani, what? Navani means new. Nava is new. Both are same. Navani Grunhati. Grunhati means he takes. Navani Dehi. Navani. Tatha Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani. Tatha, likewise, Dehi. That is the Atma. Dehi means the Atma which has taken up a body. It is translated as embodied self. Embodied self. That is the Atma itself which has taken up a body. Tatha, likewise, Dehi. Jirnani Sharirani Vihaya. Jirnani Sharirani. That is all these decrepit old bodies. It leaves. And then Anyani Samyati Navani. Anyani Navani Samyati. Anyani. Other things. Other Navani. New ones. Samyati. It takes up. It goes. Sanyati means actually gachati. Ya dhatu means gachati, but here it means takes up. So that is the meaning. Shankaracharya's commentary also is very small in this. There is nothing very serious. Vasamsi Vastrani Jirnani Durbalatam Gatani Yatha Loke Vihaya. Vihaya means Parityajya. Vihaya Parityajya. Navani Abhinavani Grunhati Upadatte Naraha Purushaha Aparani Anyani Tatha Tadvadeva Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani Anyani Samyati Sangachati Navani Dehi Atma Purushavat Avikriyayeva Ityarthaha. Yeah, that closes the commentary. So at this rate we will read at least 3 or 4 or 5 shlokas maybe in this class. So here Vasamsi, that is Vastrani, clothes. Jirnani Durbalatam Gatani, which have become weak. Durbala means weak. Durbalatam Gatani, which have become weak. Yatha Loke, like as we see in the world. Vihaya means Parityajya, that is having discarded. Navani, that is Abhinavani, new ones. Navani, new ones. Grunhati Upadatte. Grunhati means takes up, accepts. Upadatte Naraha Purushaha. Aparani means Anyani. Anyani means Aparani. That is the other ones, the new ones. Tatha, likewise, Tadvadeva, Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani. That is having discarded the old decrepit bodies. Anyani Samyati. Samyati means Sangachati. He enters. Samgachati. He gets into the new bodies. That is Navani Dehi. Dehi means Atma. Purushavat Avikriyayeva. And just as the man who changes his clothes, his nature doesn't change, his self doesn't change. He is the self same person getting into new clothes. So likewise, the Dehi, the Atma, we are not talking about the Linga Sharira here. Linga Sharira is again a Deha. Linga Sharira actually is a Deha. It is not, we are not talking in that sense. The Linga Sharira changing from one body to another body, we are not talking that. We are now talking about the Atma, which is having that Deha. And I told you earlier that this Linga Sharira and also the physical Sharira dies again and again. So Linga Sharira, this physical body dies again and again. But Linga Sharira keeps on transmigrating from one body to another. And that is the Linga Sharira which is actually illumined by that Atma which is there. We talked about the two birds. One bird eats the fruit and then it eats the fruit. Another bird merely looks on but it shines. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya. I quoted a shloka from mantra from Shvetashvatara Upanishad. So that Linga Sharira is also a Dehi. So this Atma moves along with that Linga Sharira. So that is what we have to see. The discussion here is on Dehi, that is Atma, and not on Linga Sharira. So Purushavat Avikriya Eva, that is, just as a man is totally unchanged by getting into new clothes, similarly the Dehi also, he Avikriya Eva, that is, by being immutable, by being say something of an unchanging nature, it gets into the other bodies. So let us see. Kasmad Avikriya Eva.
Kasmad Avikriya Eva.
Ityaha. Why? How is it? In what manner? Kasmad Avikriya means in what manner is it Avikriya? In what manner is it imperishable or unchanging? So there is a more clear illustration given. Nainam Chindanti Shastrani.
Nainam Chindanti Shastrani.
Nainam Dahati Pavakaha.
Nainam Dahati Pavakaha.
Nachainam Kledayantyapo.
Nachainam Kledayantyapo.
Na Shoshayati Marutaha. So this is again a very simple shloka for which Shankaracharya has written only 2 or 3 lines. The meaning is like this. This Atma is something which cannot be hurt or broken or cut by any weapons. Atma is something which cannot be cut by any weapons or damaged by any weapons. Nainam dahati pavakaha. It cannot be burnt by fire also. Na chainam kledayantyapaha. Apaha means water. Water cannot make it wet. Water cannot make it wet and destabilize the body. Whatever, if you soak something in a water, naturally all the limbs become loose and then it gets destabilized. So it doesn't do that. Na shoshayati marutaha. Even the wind does not dry it. So what is it we are seeing? We are seeing the operation of 4 elements. Earth, fire, water and air. So we are seeing the operation of these 4 elements. All these 4 operations cannot, 4 elements cannot operate on this Atma. So that is the meaning here. If we see the words, Nainam means Na plus Enam. Enam means this particular one. Enam, this particular one, Dvitiya Vibhakti. Na plus Enam becomes Nainam. Na enam chindanti shastrani. Shastrani enam na chindanti. That is, weapons do not or cannot cut this. Na enam dahati pavakaha. Pavakaha means fire, Agni. That is, na enam dahati. Enam na dahati. It cannot burn it. It cannot turn it into ashes. Then, na chainam kledayantyapaha. Na chainam. Chainam is cha plus enam. Chainam. Na plus enam, nainam, cha plus enam, chainam. Na chainam kledayantyapaha. Na cha enam. Cha means and also, not only these two, and also water. Enam na kledayanti. Water cannot make it wet. Then na shoshayati marutaha. Marutaha is wind. Na shoshayati marutaha. Wind also cannot dry it. So that is the meaning here. So let us read the Shankaracharya. Enam prakruta dehinam na chindanti shastrani niravayavatvat na avayavibhagam kurvanti shastrani asyadini tatha nainam dahati pavakaha agnirapi na bhasmi karoti तथा न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापः
तथा न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापः
अपां हि सावयवस्य वस्तुनः
सावयवस्य वस्तुनः
आर्द्रीभावकरणेन अवयवविश्लेषापादने सामर्थ्यं तन्न निरवयवे आत्मनि संभवति. Okay, we will stop at this. Enam, that is this particular one, that is in Dvitiya Vibhakti. Enam prakrutam dehinam. Prakrutam means that which is under question, that which is being discussed, the point under question. That here prakrutam dehinam means dehi is the point under discussion. Dehi is the subject matter for discussion. Prakrutam is the subject matter for discussion. This particular dehinam shastrani na chindanti. Chindanti, chid dhatu means cutting. Shastra means anything which is a weapon. Shastra is a weapon. No weapon can cut it. Why? Niravayavatvat. It is like throwing in a sword in the sky. You just try to cut the sky, you can't cut it because Akasha is Niravayava. Akasha has many qualities like Atma. That is why usually Atma is this closest thing to Atma is Akasha. That is how Vedantins say. But then Atma is again the main difference is Atma is a Jada. Atma is Anitya. Atma is something which has come out of, not Atma, Akasha. Akasha is a Jada which has come out of Akasha. We have seen that line from Taittiriya Upanishad. Tasmadvaye tasmadatmana akasha sambhutah. Akasha comes out of that Atman. So Akasha is something which has emerged from that Maya. It has manifested from that Maya. So whatever has manifested from that Maya is something which is impermanent. So that is the only difference. That is something which is impermanent and that is Anitya. And it is a Jada. So these are the two qualities which distinguish Atma from Akasha from the Atman. So otherwise Akasha is something which has almost all the qualities of Atma. So that is why there is an Adhikarana called Akashadhikarana. Akashadhikarana in Brahma Sutra, where there is a discussion whether this word Akasha refers to space only or to Brahman. So that because of so many qualities, common qualities. So anyway, here, enam prakrutam dehinam na chindanti shastrani. Why? He gives a reason, niravayavattvat. Like this is niravayavam. This is something which is, this is all pervading. Something which is all pervading, which is simply you just cannot cut. Na avayava vibhagam kurvanti. Only when you have an avayava, only when there is an avayava, you can cut it. When there is no avayava, you can't cut it. That is Shastrani Asyadini. Shastrani Asi Adini. Asyadini means Asi plus Adini. Asyadini. Asi means a sword. Asi means a sword. Asi Adini. Sword, dagger, spear, Adi. Adi means you add any number of, any variety of weapon. Adi means etc. Sword, etc. In that etc. you add any type of weapon. You can add a bomb also. You can add anything. Asyadini, Shastrani, Asyadini. These are all Prithvi Vikaras. Prithvi Vikara means all these Asis. What is sword? It is only a modification of Prithvi. It is only a modification of earth. Whatever weapon you produce, it is a modification of the earth. Isn't it? So like that. Prithvyadini, Shastrani, Asyadini. Tatha, likewise, na enam dahati pavakaha. Pavakaha, like Agni, na enam dahati. It doesn't burn. Agni rapi na bhasmi karoti. Agnihi na bhasmi karoti. It does not turn into ashes. It does not turn this into ashes. Tathacha na enam kledayanti apaha. Apaha means water. Na kledayanti. They don't soak it. They can't wet it. Apam hi savayavasya vastunaha ardribhava karanena. What does water do? Suppose there is a avayavi, savayava vastu. Savayava vastu means that which has anything which has some limbs. You put some substance in water. After some period, the water slowly soaks into the body and then slightly make that avayava vishleshana. Vishleshana means just breaking out, coming out, slowly loosening of limbs. Avayava vishleshana. All that loosening of limbs takes place when you put something in the water. So here, apam he means yasmat, because he, Apam savayavasya vastunah ardribhava avayava vishleshapadane samarthyam. Water has got the samarthyam or ability to do that avayava vishleshana. This loosening of vishleshanam is loosening. Samshleshanam is coming together. Vishleshanam is loosening, going out, loosening. Avayava vishleshana apadane. Apadana means to impart that quality in that. Apadana is to impart that quality of loosening into that particular object. Ardribhava karanena means by wetting it, by wetting any particular object. Ardribhava means by wetting something. Ardribhava karanena avayava vishleshapadane samarthyam. It has got the ability to loosen the limbs of any particular thing which is soaked into that. Tat na niravayave atmani sambhavati. That sort of thing, it will not happen in niravayava atma. That cannot happen in atma, because this water itself is a product of that atma. Here we are going to see there is a good observation by Nilakantha. Nilakantha Dikshita has written something. I will read out that line after this. Nachainam kledayantyapa niravayave atmani na sambhavati. That is, that sort of loosening of limbs cannot happen in the case of atma. Tatha, likewise, snehavat, we have read this line? Not yet. Okay, tatha snehavat dravyam sneha shoshanena nashayati vayuhu enam swatmanam na shoshayati marutopi. Tatha, likewise, snehavat dravyam sneha shoshanena nashayati vayuhu. Vayu, what does it do? There is a small snehavat dravyam means something which is oily. Sneha actually means oil. In Sanskrit, sneha we usually refer to friendship. Maybe as thick as oil, we do not know. That is how it has got two meanings. Sneha also means friendship. Snihyati, that is, he shows his friendship. Saha mayi snihyati, so he is friendly to me. Like that, sneha dhatu. Then sneha also means that is the rarefied butter, the ghee as we call it. Neyi is sneha. The other meaning of sneha is friendship. So this snehavat dravyam means that is something, anything which has that oiliness, any substance which has that oiliness. What does this vayu do? Over a period of time, it dries it up. Over a period of time, it dries it up. So vayu has no impact on this. So that is what he is going to say. The ultimate meaning is vayu, that is air, has no impact on this atma. Snehavat dravyam sneha shoshanena. Shoshanam means drying up. Shoshanam. Shoshana is drying up. Nasayati vayuhu. Enam swatmanam na shoshayati marutopi. This marutaha, this wind, cannot dry up this atma. So that is the meaning here. So here I think this Nilakantha has written one line, quoting one line from Upanishad. Atma is usually described in terms of, say, in negative terms, in the sense that Atma is not this, not this, not this. He quotes one line from one Upanishad, Adhirgham asthulam ananu. This is from an Upanishad. Adhirgham asthulam. It is not a sthula thing. It is not something which is not having any sort of dimensions. Adhirgham means it has no dimensions. It is not asthulam. It is not an anu. It is not an atomic thing. So like that, ashabdam, asparsham, arupam, avyayam. Ashabdam, it is not reached by shabda. It is asparsha. It cannot be touched. Arupam, it cannot be seen. Avyayam. So all these appellations, all these description by use of words in a negative manner. That is, if you want to describe something, you positively say, okay, this is a pen, this has got red color, this has got a green color. You describe things which are there in it. But Atma, you cannot describe like that. Atma is having this, is having this. You can only say Atma is not this, Atma is not this, Atma is not this. Whatever you say, you deny, you reject. And at the end of all that, after rejecting all, what remains is Atma. After rejecting all, what remains is that pure, that consciousness or absolute consciousness as we see. So that is what he says. Shastrani na chindanti na dvedha kurvanti asthulatvat, because it is not a sthula, it is not a substance, a solid substance. Then tarhi parthiva parimanu, then if somebody may say, yeah, it can, then in which case it can, the fire can burn it. It is not an ananu, it is not an anu. Anu means an atom, it is neither atomic, so that it can be burnt by this thing. Then apaha na kledayanti asparshatvat. Apa, the quality of water is to affect the sense of touch. So this apa asparshatvat, adirgham, asparsham, ananu, all these descriptions which were there in Upanishad, that he is applying to this particular shloka. Atma is being described in say all these negative terms in various Upanishads. All these things are being applied to this particular shloka in this say commentary by Nilakantha Acharya. Na shoshayati marutah asneha etena, so and so, this is Shruti Prasiddha Shruti Prasiddhanam Dirghatva Ashabdatvadinam api sangraha gneyah. So okay, we will go to the next shloka. Yata evam tasmat. Yata evam tasmat means because of this. Yataha evam tasmat, because of this. Now we will read the next shloka. Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shoshya evacha nityas sarvagatasthānuhu achaloyam sanatanaha. Okay, this shloka achedyaha ayam, it only elaborates what has been said earlier, it elaborates. Achedyaha ayam, adahyaha ayam, akledyaha ayam, ashoshyaha ayam. That is this particular Atma. Achedyaha, nainam chindanti shastrani, whatever has been said, again it is said. Achedyaha, it cannot be cut. Adahyaha, it cannot be burnt. Akledyaha, it cannot be soaked. Ashoshyaha, it cannot be dried up by the wind. Then why nityaha? Nityaha is something which is eternal. Nitya is something which is eternal. Sarvagataha. Sarvagata is which is present everywhere. Then sthanuhu. Sthanu is something which is totally unmoving. Which is totally unmoving. Which is also found everywhere and also unmoving. Achalaha. Achala is something again it doesn't move. Chala is chala. Whatever moves is chalati. Achala is something which does not move. Ayam sanatanaha. Sanatanaha is everlasting. So that is the general meaning of this shloka. The words, if we see, achedyaha ayam. Achedyaha ayam becomes achedyoyam. Achedyaha ayam. Adahyaha ayam. There is an akara praslesha there. Akara praslesha means you also call it avagraha. That avagraha, it implies that there is an a shabda in that. Achedyaha ayam. Adahyaha ayam. Akledyaha ashoshya evacha. Akledyaha ashoshya evacha. Then nityaha sarvagataha sthanuhu achalaha ayam. Achaloyam. Achalaha ayam sanatanaha. This is the word division. Let us see what Shankaracharya writes. Yasmat Anyonya Nasha Hetuni Bhutani Yenam Atmanam Nashayitum Notsahante Tasmat Nityaha Nityatvat Sarvagataha Sarvagatatvat Sthanuhu Sthanuriva Sthiraha Ityetat. Okay, Ityetat we'll read later. Yasmat Anyonya Nasha Hetuni Bhutani Yenam Atmanam Nashayitum na utsahante. This Bhutani means these five elements. This Bhuta we know. Bhuta, that which has come into being. That which has come into being is Bhuta. That is Prithvi, Apastejo, Vayu, Akasha. They are the Bhutas. In English, in Sanskritam, it is Bhutani. Bhutani, what is their nature? Anyonya Nasha Hetuni. One can destroy another. Water can destroy fire. Fire can destroy water depending on which is strong and which is weak. In that particular sense, if water is more, it will destroy fire, and if fire is more, it will destroy water. Then similarly, earth can destroy water, water can destroy earth. So like that, anyonya nasha hetuni. So it can soak up. For example, the same example of nashoshayati marutaha, maruta, that is air, it can dry up some oily substance. So it can, that means it is causing the nasha for something which is oily. So like that, they are anyonya nasha hetuni. They can destroy each other or one another. All these five, they can destroy one another, but they have no operation in the case of Atma. Yasmat, because anyonya nasha hetuni bhutani, these elements which are capable of destroying one another, enam atmanam nashayitum notsahante. Enam atmanam, this particular Atma, it is in Dvivachana, Dvitiya Vibhakti. Enam atmanam nashayitum na utsahante. They cannot, utsaha means enthusiasm. But here notsahante means they are not enthusiastic to say destroy Atma, which means that they cannot. It is only idiomatic way saying notsahante, but otherwise it means they cannot destroy. They cannot destroy. Nashayitum notsahante. Tasmat nityaha nityatvat sarvagataha. Tasman nityaha. Nityaha, that is, we also know the normal meaning of nitya is eternal. This Nilakantha is writing something else. Sthuladin abhavarupan gunanutva bhavarupanaha nityaha. Okay. Nityaha means Nilakantacharya writes, na utpadyam ghatavat. So for example, in any karya means in any effect, there are four things. That is utpatti, then prapti, then samskaryam, utpadyam, prapyam, samskaryam, then vikaryam, modification. So all these four modifications do not take place in Atma. Utpadyam, apyam, vikara, samskara. Utpatti, apyam, vikara and samskara. I will explain the meanings. Utpadyam means something which is newly produced. I produce some object newly. So that is something which is produced. Then by moving from one place to another, or by knowing something, by reading a book, I memorize this text. So that means this is apyam. This has been obtained by me. Or I go to a particular place, from one place A to B I go, and then which means I go to that place, I reach that place. So that is called apyam, that which has been obtained, that which you have got for yourself. Then vikaryam, something which undergoes a modification. Then the other one is samskara, something which has some quality which has not been there, that quality has been added to you. That is guna adhanam, a new guna, a new characteristic has been put on you. So all these things, I acquire a degree, so that is a guna adhanam, that is samskara. So like that, all these four samskara are not there. That is what Nilakantha writes. Sarvaihi visheshanaihi akhandaika rasasyaiva vastunaha lakshyatvat. This, what is the lakshyartha of this entire thing? Lakshyartha of the entire thing is akhandaika rasa vastunaha. That is akhanda, the something which is that akhanda, which is unbreakable, which is all pervading. Akhanda means which cannot be broken. Akhandaika rasa, the essence of it is something which is unbroken. So that sort of vastu is the lakshya vastu. Lakshya is, that is the intended meaning. Then for that, nityatvadivihi utpadyatvadikam nirakriyate. Yataha nityaha ataha ghatavad anutpadyaha. He is also giving an example, because it is called nitya. Nitya sarvagata sthanu, he is explaining. Nityaha means ghatavad anutpadyaha. It cannot be produced, something like a ghata. You produce a ghata, a pot. This is something which cannot be produced. Yataha sarvagataha ataha gramavad aprapyaha. Gramavad aprapyaha means from one grama to another grama you go. That is from one place, village. Grama means a village. From one village to another village you can go. So you say, yes, I have reached this village. This is something not like that. Nityaha sarvagata, because it is sarvagata. Sarvagata is, it is there everywhere. Then yataha sthanuhu purna rupa parityagena sthira swabhavaha ataha kshiradivad avikaryaha. Because it is a paripurna, it is a purna swabhava. This encompasses the whole universe and then beyond. So that is why there is no question of it undergoing any change. Avikaryaha. Like any change, like a milk undergoes a change, or like something else undergoes a change, like a human body itself undergoes a change. This Atma does not undergo any vikara or any change. Then what is it? Achalaha. Then asamskarya. Achalaha means something which cannot, there is no new guna has been added on to that. So that is why it is called achala. This is totally unmoving. So for these 4 words, Nilakantha Dikshita gives 4 different meanings. So whatever qualities which we see in any object, that is some utpatti, utpadyam, prapyam, then samskaryam and vikaryam, these things are not seen in this. Let us see what Shankaracharya writes. Sarvagatatvat sthanuhu, because Sarvagata is, it is present everywhere, it has gone everywhere. There is no place where it is not there. Sarvagatatvat sthanuhu. Sthanu means that which is stable. Sthanu is something which is unmoving. Sthanuriva sthiraha. Sthanu, like a sthanu, it is sthira, it is quite stable. Ityetat sthiratvad achalaha ayam atma ataha sanatanaha chirantanaha na karanat kutaschit nishpannaha abhinava ityarthaha. Okay, sthiratvad achalaha. Because it is a sthanu, because it is sthira, because it is something which is unmoving, it is achalaha. There is no question of undergoing any samskara. It is already avikari. It cannot be, no particular guna, no additional guna or no particular quality can be added onto that. No guna can be added onto that. It is only when a new guna or characteristic is added on, then you can say it is something which is samskarya, which has undergone some change, which has acquired some new qualification. This is something where there is no new qualification which it is going to acquire. Achalahayam ayam atma ataha sanatanaha chirantanaha. Sanatana is another word which we have to see. Sanatana, what do you mean by sanatana? Usually we refer to sanatana dharma. What is this sanatana dharma? Sana is an avyaya. Avyaya, you know. Avyaya is in grammar that is indeclinable, that which does not undergo any change. Sana plus tana. Tana is a pratyaya. Sanatana sadatanaha, that is what Amarkosha says. Sanatana sadatanaha means sana, the word avyaya means always. Shashvat bhavam, that is Shashvata, it is always there. Sanatana dharma actually refers to not some dharma which is given to us by rishis some 5,000 years ago because it is so old we have to follow. It is not like that. We don't say because it is old you have to follow. It is not like that. Sanatana means it is ever applicable, it is everlasting. Sanatana is sadatanaha. It is always applicable, it is universally applicable. That is why we call it Sanatana dharma, because it doesn't talk about a particular sect or a particular religion. So Sanatana, this Tana pratyaya you can also see. Adhyatana in Sanskrit. Adhyatana means today. Something which is Adhunatana we say. Adhunatana. That is something which is totally new, modern. Adhunatana means totally modern. So like that, Purvatana. Purvatana means that is olden. Purvatana, say days, we can say. Sanatana does not mean Purvatana. Sanatana is different from Purvatana. So Sanatanaha Chirantanaha. Chirantana is also same thing. He is just explaining the meaning. Sanatanaha Chirantana. Why is it Chirantana or why is it Sanatana? Na karanat kutaschit nishpannaha. Na karanat kutaschit nishpannaha. This Atma is something which is the karana for all other things, and there is no karana, there is no cause for this thing. This cause-effect relationship we know. All other things are effects, that is karya, and karanam is Atma. Karanam is that cause. And then here, na karanat kutaschit nishpannaha. This Atma does not have any karana. Atma is the karana for all other things, but that itself does not have any other more primary cause. So that is the point. This is the primary cause. Na karanat kutaschit nishpannaha. Nishpanna means that which has come out, that which has emerged. Nishpannaha. Abhinava ityarthaha. This is something which is Abhinava, what does he say? Abhinava is actually always new. Abhinava. Abhinava, he has not given any special meaning. Abhinava basically means new. Abhinava. Abhinava ityarthaha. Na etesham shlokanam
न एतेषां श्लोकानां
Paunarutyam Chodaniyam.
पौनरुक्त्यं चोदनीयम्.
Okay, he is also getting the same doubt which you and I are getting. You and I, by now you might be getting a doubt. Again and again he is saying the same point. Again and again he is saying Nainam Chindanti Shastrani. Initially he said Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavaka. Then again he says Achedyaha, Dahyaha, Kledyaha, Shoshyaha. Why is he repeatedly saying? That is what you must have got a doubt by now. That is what Shankaracharya is saying. Na etesham shlokanam paunarutyam chodaniyam. Etesham shlokanam, of these shlokas. Etesham is of these shlokanam, shlokas. Paunarutyam na chodaniyam. We should not question the paunarutyam. Paunarutyam is that repetition. Repetition, if you say in normal course, it becomes tautology, it becomes a dosha, it becomes a fault, it is a stylistic defect. Paunarutya, that repetition, is a stylistic defect. But here he says it is not like that. You don't think that it is a stylistic defect or fault. It is something. It is because of the nature of the substance which is being described here. The nature of substance, the substance which is under question or discussion is Atma. Atma is so difficult to understand. So because it is so difficult to understand, repeatedly he is saying by giving different examples, sometimes repeating the same words and sometimes using different words giving the same meaning. Sometimes arthataha and shabdataha, that's what he is going to say, by using the same words sometimes and by using some other words with same meaning. So here, na etesham shlokanam paunarutyam chodaniyam. Yataha ekenaiva shlokena atmanah nityatvam avikriyatvam cha uktam na jayate mriyate va ityadina. Tatra yadeva atma vishayam kinchid uchyate tadetasmat shlokarthat na atiricyate kinchit shabdatah punaruktam kinchid arthatah iti. Okay. So, yataha, because ekenaiva shlokena atmanah nityatvam avikriyatvam cha uktam. In one single shloka, it has all the Atmanaha Nityatvam, the eternality of Atman, Avikriyatvam, the unchanging nature of Atman. The eternality and unchanging nature of Atman has been described by one single shloka, that is Najayate Mriyateva Kadachit. Here you see, the same shloka is quoted, Najayate Mriyateva Kadachit Nayam Bhutva Bhavitavana Bhuyaha, you remember. So that shloka, it describes the nature. Then why is he again and again repeating and elaborating? He says, Durgneyatvad Atmavastunah, because Atmavastu is so difficult to understand. So don't think that it is mere repetition, unnecessary repetition. Ekenaiva shlokena Atmanah Nityatvam Avikriyatvam cha uktam. Nityatvam is eternality, Avikriyatvam is unchanging nature. By what is that shloka? Najayate mriyateva ityadina. That in that particular shloka. Tatra yadeva atma vishayam kinchid uchyate. In that shloka, whatever has been said about the nature of Atma, tad etasmat shlokarthat na atiricyate. So this whatever is subsequently told is not going beyond or exceeding what has been already told in that shloka. Atiricyate means it goes beyond. Etasmat shlokarthat na atiricyate. It is not going beyond what has been said in that particular shloka. Etasmat shlokarthat. In that shlokartha, the nature of Atma has been told. And whatever is subsequently said, it is not going beyond. But at the same time, you are kinchit shabdatah punaruktam. Shabdatah punaruktam means the same words are being used. For example, Nitya, he has used the word 2 times. Nitya Sarvagatasthano. Nitya is used, I think, 2-3 times. Then sometimes by different words like Sanatana and Purana. He once said Sanatana, he is again saying Purana. So sometimes Shabdatah Punaruktam, sometimes Arthatah Punaruktam. So is it clear? Okay, why Durbodhatvad Atmavastunaha?
Durbodhatvad Atmavastunaha.
Punah Punah Prasangam Apadya.
Punah Punah Prasangam Apadya.
Shabdantarena Tadeva Vastu Nirupayati. Bhagavan Vasudevaha. Katham Nama Samsarinam Avyaktam Tattvam Buddhi Gocharatam Apannam Sat Samsara Nivruttaye Syaditi. Okay. Durbodhatvad Atmavastunaha Punah Punah Prasangam Apadya. Suppose there is a difficult topic. So every time you create some context, you create some context or just raise that topic again and again, you raise the same topic or bring up the same topic and then try to explain, elucidate. So that is what he is saying. Atmavastunaha Durbodhatvat. This Atmavastu, that is the subject or the subject called Atma, is something Durbodhatvat. Durbodha is difficult to understand. Buddha is to know. Durbodha means difficult to understand. Durbodhatvam is there in that Atmavastu. Durbodhatvat is Panchami Vibhakti because it has the nature of Durbodhatvam. Durbodhatvam is something, the nature of being very difficult to understand. The nature of something being very difficult to understand. Atmavastu Durbodhaha. Atmavastunaha Durbodhatvam. Durbodhatmavad Atmavastunaha. So that is the meaning. This Atmavastu is so difficult to comprehend. So that is why Punah Punaha, again and again, Prasangam Apadya, by raising the same topic or bringing up the same topic or bringing up the same context, Shabdantarena Tadeva Vastu Nirupayati. In different words, Tadeva Vastu Nirupayati, the same word, the same Vastu, the same object, that is Atma, he is Nirupayati, trying to prove, trying to explain before us, Bhagavan Vasudevaha. Katham nu nama samsarinam avyaktam tattvam. Katham nu nama, very difficult to say how. Katham nu nama means very difficult to say how, very difficult to say how can, in what manner can I make them grasp, in what manner can I help them. So that is the attitude of Bhagavan. He says, in what manner can I help them. Katham nu nama samsarinam avyaktam tattvam buddhi gocharatam apannam tat. This avyaktam tattvam means the nature of that avyakta, the nature of that unmanifest, is something, the difficult, very difficult nature of that Atma. Buddhi gocharatam apannam sat. That is, that becomes buddhi gochara. Whatever is incomprehensible, it becomes buddhi gochara. On one hand we are saying incomprehensible, on the other hand we are saying buddhi gochara. Why? In the last class we saw a dirty mind may not be able to comprehend, but a very pure mind. Shastra Acharyopadesha Janita, some word, some long line we saw. Shastra Acharyopadesha Shamadamadi Samskrutam Manaha. So that sort of mind, because Manasaiva Anudrashtavyam. Because Shastra on one hand says Aprapya Manasasaha, mind cannot understand it. But on the other hand, it also says Manasaiva Anudrashtavyam, because the only tool which a person has, which a human being has, is the mind, Antahkarana. So with this Antahkarana only you have to reflect, you have to look inwards, and then you have to understand. So that is the Atmavastu. Buddhi Gocharatam Apannam Sat. So it becomes Buddhi Gochara. Though it is not Indriya Gochara, it cannot be comprehended by the senses, it becomes Buddhi Gochara. Buddhi Gocharatam Apannam Sat, having become that. Buddhi Gocharatam Apannam Sat means having become that. Become what? Become having been comprehended by the Buddhi, having been understood by the Buddhi. Buddhi Gocharatam Apannam Sat, Samsara Nivruttaye Syat. What is the ultimate point is Samsara Nivruttaye Syat. It becomes useful for Samsara Nivrutti. Samsara is Samsarati. We should not forget that Samsaranam, that is moving from body to body. Sarati means moves. Samsarati, Samyak Sarati. It always keeps on moving and moving and moving. Like this Truna Jala Yuka, in Bruhadaranyaka, there is a beautiful example given of a small caterpillar. So It from leaf to leaf, it moves on like that. It catches one leaf, pulls the body, and then catches another leaf, pulls another body, and then it catches another leaf, and then pulls its body, goes to another leaf. So like that, the thing, that worm, it moves from leaf to leaf, doesn't it? So that is the Trunajala, that is from grass blade to another grass blade, it keeps on moving by dragging its body. So similarly, this jiva from one body to another, it keeps on moving. This samsaranam, samyak sarati, it is samsaraha. So that sort of that, when does it break? That samsara breaks only when mind becomes still. When mind becomes still, only the samsara breaks. That is why in Bhagavatam there is a beautiful description of the meaning of Naimisharanya. Naimisharanyam, you have heard the name Naimisharanyam. Naimisharanyam, actually it is a particular place. Even now it is supposed to be a sacred place, in spite of UP being overhauled by so many governments and so many types of people. It is about 120 kilometers from Lucknow. If you go to Lucknow at any time, about 100 odd kilometers, 100 or 120, I am not very sure. So it is near Lucknow. It used to be a very, very dense forest in olden days, but even now there is some forest, and then there are said to be some Mahatmas, some saints who do tapas in that particular area because of the very famous nature of that place. Naimisha Aranyam. Naimisha, what is the meaning of Naimisha? Bharatam explains, Mahabhagavatam, that story was told in Naimisharanya. This Suta Pauranika, the Suta was there, and then he is the gentleman who tells the story to all these rishis and munis who were sitting there. The meaning of Naimisha is like this. The Brahma, initially, he created a wheel. Brahma created a wheel and let it loose. And that wheel goes on and on. Wheel, it keeps on rotating. Some Brahmana Nirmitam Pura, that wheel is called a Nemi. The rim of the wheel is called a Nemi. And where that Nemi stops, that is Naimisham. Nemi Shiryate Yatra Tan Naimisham. I don't remember the shloka. There is a wonderful shloka given by Sridharacharya in his Bhashyam. For Mahabhagavatam, there is a commentary written by Sridhara. On that Sridhara, another commentator called Vamshidhara, he wrote very elaborate commentary. So you find 2 volumes of this size. Mahabhagavatam, if you see, 2 volumes of this size, along with that Vamshidhari Vyakhya. So I don't remember the line, but the meaning is like this. Nemi is that wheel, that rim of the wheel. That wheel goes and it stops. So where that Nemi Shiryate, where that Nemi stops, that is Naimisham. And this human mind is that wheel which keeps on moving. And then where this mind becomes still, where mind gets rid of all its dirt and all these things and then becomes still, that is Naimisham. Nemi Shiryate Yatra Tan Naimisham. So that Naimisharanyam is the place, that is the suitable place for Bhagavata. When mind becomes still only, it becomes fit to receive Atma Jnana. So that is the meaning. So this line says samsara nivruttaye syat. What? Buddhi gocharatam. So this avyaktam tattvam buddhi gocharatam apannam sat. This avyakta tattva becomes buddhi gochara, and then it works towards samsara nivrutti. It becomes useful. Samsara nivruttaye syat means for that purpose it will be there. Samsara nivruttaye, for that purpose it will be useful. Then Kincha, next shloka, avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanushochitumarhasi. So this shloka also Shankaracharya has written only 2 or 3 lines. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam na anushochitum arhasi. These words also we have seen earlier several times. Avyakta, this is something, here we should not refer to Maya. Avyakta we usually refer to Maya. Here it is not referring to Maya. in a slightly different sense. In a slightly different sense, it is called unmanifest, something which is beyond Maya. Something which is beyond Maya. Avyaktaha ayam. Achintyaha ayam. Something, chinta means mental process, alochana. That is, chinta is not grief. In Telugu, we use it for grief. We use it as meaning grief. Chinta means. Chintan actually does not mean grief. Chintan actually means thinking. Something to mentally deliberate on a particular subject. Chintana. So, achintyaha means something which cannot be deliberated upon. Something which cannot be pondered on. So, something which cannot be understood. So, achintyaha, avikaryaha. Avikarya we also came across several times. Avikarya, something which does not undergo any change. Avikaryaha ayam uchyate tasmad evam viditva enam. So, like that, knowing this knowing this to be of this particular nature, na anushochitum arhasi. You should not grieve. So who is telling whom? Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are not supposed to grieve for all the Bhishma and all that, all the Drona and people, all the people. You are not supposed to grieve. So the words are like this. Avyaktaha ayam becomes avyaktoyam. That avagraha is there, which shows that there is an akara there. Avyaktoyam means avyaktaha ayam. Achintyaha ayam. Avikaryaha ayam uchyate. Tasmat evam viditva enam. Viditvainam is viditva enam. Na anushochitum arhasi. Na plus anushochitum plus arhasi. That is the division, word division. So word meanings are like this. Meanings I told. Avyaktaha ayam. The second line meaning I can say. Tasmad evam viditvainam. It has to be split as enam evam viditva. Enam evam viditva. This particular thing, evam viditva. Evam means in this manner. Viditva, having known. You know this to be of this particular nature. Having known this thing to be of this particular nature, evam viditva na anushochitum arhasi. You will not grieve. So let us see what Shankaracharya says. Avyaktaha.
Avyaktaha.
3 minutes? Okay. Avyaktaha. Sarva karana avishayatvat.
Sarva karana avishayatvat.
Na vyajyate.
Na vyajyate.
Iti avyaktaha ayam atma.
Iti avyaktaha ayam atma.
Atayeva. Achintyaha ayam.
Achintyaha ayam.
Yat hi indriya gocharam. Vastu. Tat chinta vishayatvam apadyate. Ayam tu. Atma. Anindriya gocharatvat. Achintyaha. Okay, this line is long. We'll stop here. Avyaktaha. Avyakta, as I said, we should not refer to that unmanifest or Maya. Avyakta, in this particular context, we have to refer to Brahman. Avyaktaha sarvakarana avishayatvat. Sarvakarana avishayatvat na vyajyate. Karanam is, what is Karanam? Karanam is Indriyam. All these Indriya are Karanams. Antah Karanam is mind. Bahya Karanas are 5 senses. These 5 senses are visible. Antah Karana is something which gathers all the information from these 5 senses. Karana. Sarva Karana avishayatvat. That is, Atma is something which is not a Vishaya, which is not a subject matter for all these Karanas, for all these tools, or for all these organs of perception, whether it is external organs or internal organ called the mind. Atma is beyond the scope of these organs of perception. Anindriya Vishayatvat, it is not a Vishaya or subject matter. Avyakta Sarvakarana Avishayatvat na Vyajyate iti Avyaktaha. In that sense, it is called Avyakta. Vyajyate, in a very etymological sense, he is using that word. Vyajyate means that which is, revealed by a particular thing. Vyajyate is, suppose there is an object. Every object is revealed by a sense. Suppose this is an object. This can be revealed by the sense of touch. This can be received by the sense of sight. I can touch it. I can also see it. So this is revealed. So by this sense of sight, it is said to be vyajyate. It is known. It is known by the sense of sight. It is also known by the sense of touch. Suppose it smells also. If it smells also, it is also known by the sense of smell. So like that, an ice cream, of course, it can be made, it can be tasted also. So it is also known by the sense of taste. So like that, by various senses, the sense objects are perceived. That is called vyajyate. That is, they are made known. That is, one is Vyanjya Vyanjaka Bhava. That is called Vyanjya Vyanjaka. What is this? Vyanjya Vyanjaka Bhava. This sense which I have is the Vyanjaka. This is something which is Vyanjya. That which is made known. That which is known is a Vyanjya. That which makes it to, that which causes that knowledge is Vyanjaka. That is, the sense is called the Vyanjaka and the object is a Vyanja. So you follow that? Not very difficult, I suppose. So in that sense, the word is used in a rather etymological sense. Avyakta, the word is used to refer to Brahman in a very etymological sense. Sarvakarana vishayatvat na vyajyate iti avyaktaha ayam atma. Na vyajyate, that is, it cannot be indicated. Indication, that is a rather correct word. It is not indicated by any sense. That is the ayam atma. Atayeva achintyaha ayam. Is the time over?
Yeah.
Atayevaha achintyaha ayam. We will see this line in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.